What if I told you the version of you that is struggling right now, the one that feels stuck, feels lost, feels like no matter how hard you try, nothing changes? What if I told you that version is not the real you? What if the life you're living right now is just a costume, and underneath it, there's a completely different person, sharper, stronger, freer, just waiting to break out? Most people spend their entire lives playing a role they never chose. They wear the same mask their parents gave them. They carry the same fears, the same habits, the same broken stories, day after day, year after year. But today, we are talking about something different. We are talking about a complete inner transformation. Not motivation, not tips and tricks. I'm talking about fundamentally changing who you are at your core. So if you're ready to stop living someone else's life and finally become who you were always meant to be, stay with me, because what we're about to explore will change how you see everything. This book is not for everyone. Let me be honest with you. If you're looking for a quick fix, a magic formula, or a shortcut to success, this is not it. But if you're someone who has been asking themselves, why does my life feel like it's going in circles? Or why do I keep making the same mistakes? Or why does success feel so far away even when I work so hard? Then this book is speaking directly to you. Here's the biggest mistake most people make. They try to change their life without changing their self. They change their job, they change their city, they change their relationships, but they take themselves, the same mindset, the same patterns, the same unhealed identity with them everywhere they go. And then they wonder why nothing changes. The answer is simple, but it's not easy. You cannot live a new life with an old self. This book is about the process of shedding that old self, piece by piece, layer by layer, until what's left is the truest, most powerful version of you. Think about a snake. Every year, it sheds its old skin completely. It doesn't hold on to it. It doesn't get nostalgic about it. It just releases it and grows into something newer, fresher, stronger. That is what true transformation looks like, and that is exactly what we are going to explore today. Let me start with the most dangerous trap most people are living in right now, and they don't even know it. It's called the identity trap. Here's how it works. From the moment you were born, the world started labeling you. Your parents said, he's the shy one. Your teacher said, she's not good at math. Your friend said, you're the funny guy, not the smart one. And slowly, without you realizing it, you started to believe these labels. You started to act according to them. You built your entire personality around these stories that other people created for you. By the time you were an adult, you had constructed a complete identity. But here's the thing. It wasn't your identity, it was a borrowed one. And now you're living inside a cage made of other people's opinions. Let me give you a real-world example. Imagine a man, let's call him Ravi. Ravi grew up in a family where his father always said, money is hard to earn, rich people are greedy, we are simple people. Ravi hears this over and over as a child. By the time he's 25, he has internalized this completely. He subconsciously believes that wanting money is wrong, that rich people are bad, that he is just a simple person. So every time he gets close to success, every time an opportunity shows up, he sabotages himself. He doesn't even know why. He just feels uncomfortable with success. He self-destructs. This is the identity trap in action. The common mistake people make here? They look at their actions and try to change them. They say, I need to work harder. I need better habits. I need discipline. But they're fixing the wrong thing. You don't need to change your actions first. You need to change your identity first, because your actions will always follow your beliefs about who you are. If you believe you're someone who fails, you will find ways to fail. If you believe you're someone who is not meant for big things, you will make yourself small. So the first step is not to change what you do, it's to question who you think you are. Take out a piece of paper. Write down 5 beliefs you have about yourself that you didn't consciously choose. Things like, I'm not smart enough, I'm not confident, success is not for people like me. Now ask yourself, who taught me this? When did I decide this was true? You didn't choose those beliefs. They were installed, and anything that was installed can be uninstalled. But here's where it gets really interesting, because even when people discover these false beliefs, they still don't change. And there's a very specific psychological reason why. We're going to get into that in just a moment. The reason most people can't escape the identity trap is because the old identity feels safe. It feels familiar. Your nervous system has been trained to protect this old version of you, even if that version is hurting you. This is why you'll meet people who say, I want to change, but never do. It's not laziness, it's biology. The brain resists change because it's designed for survival, not growth. So transformation is not just a mindset game, it's a rewiring process. And the first step of that rewiring is simply awareness. The moment you see the cage clearly, you've already taken the first step toward freedom. Now, let me tell you a story. In ancient Japanese culture, there was a practice called kintsugi. When a bowl or a vase broke, they didn't throw it away. They repaired it with gold. And here's the beautiful part. The repaired piece was considered more valuable than the original because the cracks told a story. The breaking was not the end. It was the beginning of something richer. Your old self needs to break, not slowly fade away. It needs to actually break. And most people are terrified of this because it feels like death. And in a way, it is a kind of death. The death of the version of you that no longer serves you. But here's what nobody tells you. Every great version of you that has ever emerged came after a breakdown. Think about a time in your own life when everything fell apart. A relationship ended, you lost a job, you failed at something you deeply cared about. It felt like the end. But now, looking back, wasn't that the moment that built you the most? The caterpillar doesn't gradually become a butterfly. Inside the cocoon, it completely dissolves. It turns into liquid. It becomes unrecognizable. And then, from that formlessness, something entirely new is rebuilt. That is what transformation actually looks like. Not a gentle evolution, a radical dissolution and rebuilding. Now let's connect this to your money, your career, and your relationships. In career terms, most people are afraid to leave behind the version of themselves that is defined by a title. I am a manager. I am an engineer. I am the person who does X. When someone asks you, who are you? Most people immediately answer with their job title. But that's not who you are. That's what you do. And when you overattach your identity to what you do, you become terrified of trying new things, taking risks, or stepping into unfamiliar territory. Because if you fail at something new, you fear it means you are a failure. In financial terms, the same thing applies. Many people carry what I call a poverty identity, even if they have money in the bank. They grew up feeling like they don't belong in certain rooms. They shrink in front of wealthy people. They feel guilty for wanting more. The old self must die for the wealthy, powerful, free version of you to emerge. Here's the uncomfortable question. What version of yourself are you holding on to out of fear? What part of your old story are you refusing to let go of? Because letting go means you'd have to become someone completely different. Write your own identity obituary. Yes, seriously. Write a short paragraph about the old version of you, what that person believed, how that person lived, what that person was afraid of. Then write a paragraph about the new version of you that is emerging. What does that person believe? How does that person carry themselves? Read it every morning, because identity is not what you are, it's what you practice. Now, we get to the part that almost nobody talks about, and it's the reason why most people who start this transformation process quit halfway. This is the part that separates people who truly reinvent themselves from those who just talk about it. Coming up next.
Let me share a psychological insight that will make you rethink everything. The comfort zone is not a safe place. It's a slowly shrinking prison. Here's the science behind it. Every time you avoid discomfort, every time you choose the easy, familiar option over the challenging, unfamiliar one, your comfort zone gets smaller, slightly, almost invisibly. Today, you avoid a difficult conversation. Tomorrow, you avoid a hard decision. Next week, you avoid an opportunity that scared you. And slowly, the world you're willing to live in gets smaller and smaller. Until one day you wake up and realize you've been living in a tiny box. And the saddest part is, you built that box yourself, one small act of avoidance at a time. Most people think comfort zones are about fear of failure, but that's only half the story. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many people are equally or even more afraid of success. Because success means change. It means becoming someone unfamiliar. It means people will see you differently, expect more from you. Some will even resent you. And for someone whose whole identity is built around fitting in, being liked, staying safe, success is actually more threatening than failure. This is why you see intelligent, talented people repeatedly sabotage themselves right when they're about to break through. It's not bad luck, it's not the market, it's not the economy. It's a subconscious return to familiar. The brain pulls you back to what it knows. Now here's what separates winners from average people. Average people try to remove fear before they act.
They wait until they feel confident. They wait until conditions are perfect. They wait until they feel ready. But winners have discovered something powerful. You don't act when you're ready. You act and readiness follows. Confidence is not something you feel first. It's something you build through action. Every time you do the uncomfortable thing and survive, your nervous system gets a new reference point. Oh, I can do that. I didn't die. Actually, I got stronger. And slowly, your comfort zone expands instead of shrinks. Let me give you a real example. Think about someone who is terrified of public speaking. They avoid it for years. Every year that passes, the fear gets bigger. The avoidance makes it worse. But someone who pushes through it, even once, even badly, starts to crack that fear open. They did it. They survived. Now they have proof that they can. That one moment of discomfort changes what they believe is possible for themselves. This is why the most successful people you've ever met don't have less fear than you. They've just developed a higher tolerance for discomfort. They've made friends with the uncomfortable feeling instead of running from it. Identify one thing you've been avoiding for more than 3 months. One conversation you haven't had, one action you haven't taken, one decision you haven't made. Schedule it. Do it within the next 7 days. Not because you feel ready, but because you don't. That one act of courage will rewire something deep inside you. We've talked about who you are, how to let the old self die, and how to expand beyond your comfort zone. But there's one final idea, and this one is the deepest of all. Most summaries miss this completely, and if you leave before hearing it, you'll miss the entire heart of this book. Stay with me. Here's the deepest lesson, the one that most people miss. There are 2 versions of you walking around every single day, the performed self and the true self. The performed self is the version of you that was shaped by the world. It shows up differently in different rooms. It says what others want to hear. It chases goals that sound impressive but feel hollow. It works hard for validation, for likes, for approval, for respect from people whose opinion it doesn't even truly value. The true self is something entirely different. It's quieter. It doesn't need to perform. It has a different kind of confidence, not the loud kind that needs an audience, but the deep kind that doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. Here's the problem. Most people have been running from their true self for so long, they don't even know it exists anymore. They've been so busy performing, being the good son, the reliable employee, the strong one, the fun one, that they've completely lost touch with what they actually want, what they actually feel, what they actually believe. And the result? A life that looks successful on the outside, but feels completely empty on the inside. Now here's how people misuse this concept. When someone hears be your true self, they often interpret it as do whatever I want, say whatever I feel, put myself first no matter what. That's not the true self. That's just the ego with a new name. The true self is not selfish. It's clear. It knows what it values. It lives by those values consistently, not because the world is watching, but because that's who it is at its core. Here's the correct way to apply this. Start by asking yourself these 3 questions and answer them honestly, not what you think sounds good. What would I be doing with my life if nobody was watching and no one could judge me? What do I actually value? Not what I was taught to value, but what I feel deeply is true. In which relationships do I feel completely free to be myself, and in which ones do I constantly perform? Your answers to these 3 questions will give you the map to your true self. And here's the deep lesson that most summaries completely miss. Reinvention is not about adding more to yourself. It's about removing what was never truly you. Most people think transformation means acquiring new skills, new habits, new knowledge, new connections. And yes, those things matter. But the deepest transformation comes from subtraction, peeling away the layers of performance, fear, conditioning, and false identity until what's left is authentic. Like a sculptor who doesn't create the statue, he removes everything that isn't the statue. Your true self is already in there. The process of reincarnation, of becoming who you're truly meant to be, is not about building something new from scratch. It's about uncovering what was always there, buried under years of other people's expectations. Action step number 4. For one full day, just one day, notice every moment where you change how you speak, how you carry yourself, what you say or what you don't say, based on who's in the room. Notice where you perform. Notice where you shrink. Notice where you pretend. Don't judge it, just see it. Because awareness is the first act of liberation. Okay, so we've covered the ideas. Now let's talk about application, because ideas without action are just entertainment. Here's your 7-day plan to begin your own reincarnation. Day 1, audit your identity. Write down 10 beliefs you hold about yourself, then circle every belief you didn't consciously choose. This is your starting point. Day 2, write your identity obituary. Write about the old you,
who they were, what they believed, how they lived. Then write about the new you that is emerging. Make it real. Make it specific. Day 3, do the uncomfortable thing. Pick the one thing you've been avoiding. Make the call, send the email, have the conversation, take the action. Do it today, even badly. Day 4, 1 day of radical honesty. Today, say only what you genuinely believe. Don't perform for anyone. Notice what that feels like. Notice where it's hard. Day 5, remove one thing. Identify one habit, one relationship, one commitment, or one thought pattern that belongs to your old self. Make a conscious decision to let it go. Day 6, redesign your morning. How you start your day sets the tone for who you're going to be that day. Design a 30-minute morning that is entirely about you. Not notifications, not news, not other people's noise. Meditation, journaling, reading, whatever puts you in contact with your true self. Day 7, reflect and recommit. Sit quietly, no phone. Ask yourself what changed this week. What resistance came up? What surprised me? Then recommit to the new identity you're building, not out of motivation, but out of decision. Because decisions are more powerful than motivation. Motivation fades. A real decision doesn't. I want to leave you with this. Somewhere along the way, you were taught that who you are is fixed, that you were born a certain type of person, that some people are just like that and others aren't. That is the biggest lie you were ever told. Every human being on this planet has the capacity to completely transform. Not once, but again and again, as many times as necessary, because growth doesn't stop until you decide it does. The caterpillar doesn't spend time mourning the life it had as a caterpillar. It surrenders completely, and it emerges as something that can fly. Right now, in this exact moment in your life, you are standing at a threshold. On one side is the old you, the comfortable, familiar, small version, the one that stays safe, plays small, blends in, repeats the same patterns and wonders why life doesn't change. On the other side is the new you, the one that scares you a little, the one that has desires you haven't admitted out loud yet, the one that knows, deep down, there is so much more. The gap between these two versions of you is not talent, it's not luck, it's not circumstance. It's one decision. The decision to stop living inside the identity that was assigned to you and start building the one that was meant for you. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to take one real step today in the direction of the person you know you're capable of becoming. Because you were never meant to stay the same. You were built to reincarnate. If this video made you see something about yourself differently, even one small thing, then I want you to do 3 things right now. First, hit that like button. It takes 1 second and it tells me that this kind of content matters to you. Second, subscribe if you haven't already, because we go deep on books, mindset, and the psychology of success every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming. Third, drop a comment below and tell me, what was your single biggest takeaway from this video? Was it the identity trap, the death of the old self, the comfort zone, or the difference between your true self and your performed self? Whatever it was, I want to hear it, because your growth is not just for you. When you share it, you might just be the reason someone else wakes up. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, keep growing. And remember, the best version of you is not behind you. It's waiting on the other side of the next brave step you take.